Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome.
Okay.
Shut the door.
Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. So it starts, Shoftim starts off with a bunch of sukkim about justice. And the Medrash says that these sukkim were written on the steps to the throne of Shlomo Melech. So we have to understand a little what they are. So the partial ones I'm not going to get involved in there. Sat the Mishpat as Pashut, it's like upon him. There's an Indian of making the guy weaken his kindness. Now, the person has to have confidence when he comes to Bezdin. They're scared enough because being embezzled by the power that Bezdin has. And therefore, a person who normally would have good kindness, and he says them, and before he comes into Bezdin, he's understanding that he has good kindness, and then Lamaisa, when he comes to Bezdin, he can't get him out of his mouth. So the question is why? So that you need usually the help of Bezdin to be able to do it. If you would mechabed one of the two sides, so then the pshat is the guy thinks his case is completely lost, so he wouldn't even try anymore. So what you did is you took away the confidence from the enemy, and that's a tremendous Isa. It's so big in Isa that it's the din of that you have to go. They shouldn't be shining in Atzibo. They put me first in Atzibo. We're talking about in wartime. It's a din of that a person was in a place where they're going, let's say, to war, even though he can't do anything about it. He's not a soldier. But according to Mishaburi, even if he could just pray, he's not pleased to stay. He's not allowed to go. Why? Because by your going, you automatically shvachen up the other people. The ones that just said this about the Beis Yaakov girls, whether they're true or not, I have no idea. But when they used to see all the Reuven that were able to escape on certain visas, and they were left to die, so that like put a tremendous Yushadas into them. Same thing was when a lot of the Bachim left in the first Gulf War, and because they had American citizenship, they called, and when their passports, so they were able to get out of the country before the Scots came, and they said it schwachened up the country. How much it schwachened up the country? Obviously, we won the war, or whatever it is in Dubai. The Allies won it, and whatever it is, no one didn't really have an effect on us. But Lamaisa, it still was a point of fear, and we made a fear become reality, and that's an issur on us to do. And same thing here, you can't schwachen up a person, so if you show respect to one side over the other side, that schwachens up the person. The next step that he has over here is you're not allowed to plant any trees. This has nothing to do with the Avodah Zarah. It's talking about the Mizbeach needs requires no adornment. That's what it's trying to tell you. It stands on its own merits. Stands on its merits is like the thing. The reason why it's telling you to do that is because sometimes you try to pretty something up and you look after the prettiness and you don't look after the reality. So I'll give you a marshal. Let's say you had an actor, you want to put up an actor to act as a judge. So you try and find somebody that looks regal, looks, what do you call, has a nice hadas panim, so on. Even the guy may be an idiot. But the idea is he looks like a judge, right? Tell you, there's no such thing as something looking like a judge. You need a judge. You don't need something that looks like anything. the whole idea is that the Mizbeach requires no adornment. The true judge requires no adornment. It's not to look at that. I think there is that he should be a guy who knows what he's doing. He should be honest. He should be fair. That's what you need. You don't need someone that looks good. Sometimes you get fooled like that in political office and other things like that. Then it says, so Rashi says a very strange thing over here. He says, can't see it too well. So. Yeah. Mizbeach Even Achas, but now it's not over. Now he hates it. What do you mean he loved it in Me'ovis? Would he have a right they loved the Me'ovis? You have one place that it says here, an Indian of the Matzeva. Matzeva was the time Yankiv Avinu built the Matzeva. So you got to understand the story over there. And let's understand it in Mizbeach and a Matzeva. A Mizbeach is made out of many stones. And therefore, what it constitutes is constant growth. I can make it 2 stones, I can make it 3 stones, I can make it 4 stones. That means I continue to grow in there. A matzeva is 1 stone. Can't add to it. That's it. So that's the only stone there is. I mean, that's whatever you are, that's what you are. That's not what we want. The only one who can put that matzeva for is a dead person. Because whatever he is. And even for him, I think that minig that they have, you put a little stone that you have. You put a little stone when you come to a kever, because it's saying you can't add on to yourself, but we can add. In other words, because the person is dead, he's dead, right? So he can't do anything anymore. But we who follow in his ways, his talmidim, whatever it is, his family, we can do something for you. So therefore, they make the matzeh, they add on to it. And it's an interesting thing. It's not enough that they answer. You have a din that when you say over a dead person's teireh, so schos of Divrei is bekeva. He talks, his lips move in the keva. I mean, I don't know if anyone ever tested that, but l'maaseh, what difference does that make? If his lips move in the keva or not? He's supposed to be the say over him, he gets chusim for it, he gets chusim for it, he doesn't get. What's supposed to? That mean because as long as you're the keva, you're still in this world. And if your lips move, that means your lips are still moving. This world is you're still doing mitzvahs in this world. And that's why it gets a tremendous schaf up there. Now, it's like by making that commitment to learning Torah. Now, he brings down about Yankiv Avinu. It says he took the stone that he was sleeping on, and Ayokam Matzeva, and he put on it Shemen. Right? Now the shaila is, he used the Matzeva for Koben. The truth is, you don't find there was Makkah Koben on it. And secondly, it says he builds a Mazbeach right afterwards. Right, so let's see what it says over here. It says, what was the dream of Yankiv? What happened over there? He landed up, he said, I passed the place where my father's prayed, and I didn't pray. So when this happened, he landed back up by the what do you call it? He landed up by the by Hamaria, and he's able to, when he goes to sleep, right where the Mokum Mizbeach is, and he dreams that's the Mokum Hashem, like this. He gets up, he gives a yikat. I didn't know, right? So okay, so this is a place I never would have slept at if I would have known where it was, right? So what did he do? Yaakov gets up in the morning. He went back to sleep again, right? What do you go back to sleep again? You just tell me can't go to sleep in that place. No, what he realized is if I wouldn't have, it would have been originally, I never would have slept there, that's for sure. Now that I realize why did the Ben should make me sleep there? He did so many nisim to force me to sleep in this place, even though I was not tired. Whatever it is there, it took only a very short time to get there from Chovan to Narayan. It took a very short time. So the 10 he came in the daytime. So why is he going to sleep? And so he obviously was sleepy. He went to sleep. He went to sleep in that place where he normally says he would not have gone to sleep to. Why? Because the Ben wanted to tell him, what did you do when you lived where you shivered? He learned 14 years without going to bed. Not without sleeping. Not the other say you can't say, because he means without sleeping. If we have a done more in the Dorim that says that a guy makes a neder, I'm not going to sleep for 3 days. You give him Malchus right now, and we don't even bother with waiting to see if you can do it or not, because it's impossible. So if it's like Yaakov Avinu could have done it for 14 years, how do you know it's impossible? So obviously it's impossible for Yaakov Avinu also. So what do you mean he didn't sleep for 14 years? So Avadi slept, but he didn't sleep, he didn't go to bed for 14 years. He was sitting right, he came over, he got so tight, and he fell asleep like that, and like a soldier or something, you got a 5-minute sleep, now it can give you a half-hour worth of learning, and then you have to go to again, no more 5 minutes. And he keeps going. Now, is it as good as if you would have gone to bed and slept, let's say, 4 hours or something straight, and then would you have gotten the same purpose? I can't answer you. I don't know. But that's what Yaakov Avinu did. It definitely showed a tremendous Mesilas Nefesh for Torah, Avodas Hashem, and so on. And it's a wonderful thing that the Rebbeinu tells me it's not what I want. I don't want you that as long as you're yeshiva, you don't go to sleep. But once you go out of yeshiva, what did you do the first thing? You go to sleep. That's not the way it works in life. You're supposed to be yeshiva and not yeshiva, the same idea. I do what I need to do in order to live, and the rest of it goes to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And therefore I sleep what I have to sleep, and then the rest goes to Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's not that I don't go to sleep. And if I hold that, it doesn't change when I become a balabas. That's what Yaakov Avinu did. Okay, so now he learned a new lesson. That everything that has to be used to be Avodas Hashem. That's the purpose of the medicine. He said, you eat only to serve me. You sleep only to serve me. So there's nothing for you. You're not there to enjoy yourself anymore. Okay? So it's such a thing. So the first thing he got up and he took this dream, this stone that he had the dream on, and he made it a matzeh. He made a matzeh back. It was one single stone. Made a matzeh that was over 12 stones came together. It's one single stone. And he puts on it the biggest concept of Gashmi that there is, fat. And he always asks you, where's the fat? No, it's very nice. You give me beef, you give me this, but where's the fat, the extra? Where's the Gashmius? That's the fat, not the basic thing that you need to live. So he says, so that I took the fat. Now, specifically why oil of a thing, because you think it can be used, first of all, to light candles, it can be used for food, and it can be used to smear on your body to actually help you smooth the skin or whatever you have to do, or you heal wounds. So it's a very important Gashmistic guy. I know probably most Gashmistic item that you would want to pick out. What would you say is the most Gashmistic thing? You'd say the fact. So that's what he did. And he put it on a single stone to tell you that single stone, I'm not bringing more than this. I only take what I need. That's my commitment when I say that. Okay. And that's what he did. And very nice. Now Yaakov Avinu wants to do more than that. he makes a neder. He says, now what happens? I'm going now to the Shvel. Well, you didn't know the Shvel yet, but when you're going to Lovin now, he intends to come back. And he says, what will be if the Ben will be with me and he'll give me food and to eat and clothes, and I'll return the Sholom to Beis Obi. And Rashi says, what's Sholom mean? B'li Then I'll accept this concept as Hashem that God will be my God. That's the thing. What do you mean God will be my God? So you have, we say in Shmones, say in Shmones, so if you wanted that to say that when I'm using the other names identification, who are the Avosenu that I'm talking about, then there's all the K's that you use over there are extra. Should have just said Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, and then continue on. Not the Avram Yitzchak Yaakov. So no, that's the Torah. Where's that commitment that in Parshas Kisovei? When they Hashem him out that you're going to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that's what can be Kavasenu. It's yours and all your forefathers. But there are three hashkafas that you have to have with it. Elokei Abraham, that is the point of the Salach Lefonai B'Lei Samim. Right by the Bris Milah, when you give him that tzivur, it says over there, and I'll be now a God to you. Till then, Avraham Avinu believed in God all the time, knew the whole Torah. It was close to him, and there's no question about it. But it was not his God. It was God. God is a Metzias. God created the world. There's one God. That's a fact. It has nothing to do whether I accepted him or not. But if we make a deal that he's my God, that means I have to learn things from him. So I have to take special orders from him. I have a special deal with him. So that's something that's my God. So with Avraham, he tells him that I'll be for you. What I'll say exact lotion there. So until then, he wasn't his God. Right? So now the first time he comes to your God is when he told him Salach Lefonai. Salach Lefonai means no reward in this world, the reward is in above. And therefore, you have to change your lifestyle. You can't just tell kids that, we got to do mitzvahs because, what do you call it, thing there? It doesn't work. They look about this and they see the Hanois of Adam Hazeh. They don't have any concept of Hanois of Adam Haba. So they ask the father, okay, Dad, what's going on? We're getting an Adam Haba. I don't know. What's Adam Haba? I don't know. Okay, so if that's the case, you haven't won the bill in the battle. You're going to lose everybody, right? So before then, he said it was his halach. In other words, Noach, when his halach himoi, in other words, he worked equal with this Hashem, his halach, he worked with God, meaning what? That God made all his steps into successes. And because they were successes, he was able to keep continuing to build more and more. In other words, you tell a person, be from, you'll be successful. You're not from, you're not going to be successful. What's from? Okay, it's a little difficult, but hey, it's a lot worth it to being successful, right? So you should be successful. That's the straight reward for what you're doing. That's good for Yishmael. That was his, you're very successful in that. It was Noach. Avraham is his Salach Lefonai. Go without that cheshbon. Go without the cheshbon, very hard, unless we change. I said, what do we mean, change? In other words, kids, by then, by the Goyim, the rest simcha to a teenager would be, let's say, winning the state championship, whatever team you're on, right? Mera Bigazah. By us, finishing the Sechta. That's the greatest simcha you can have. That's the thing. Go out for the big restaurant with that. Take a whole family with that. That's big stuff. In other words, and the kid all of a sudden that this is more important than that. I have no interest in that. I don't care about the state championship. Therefore, I don't even play for it. But learning Torah, that I pray for. So we have to give a point that our lifestyle is different. Our values are different. And because our values are different, we're able to live that way. But you have to know if you can do it. So that's why Yankee, that's first, that's our one thing. Yitzchak, normally I would say he's not, I don't see any, he doesn't say any place Elokei Yitzchak, except when the Rebbeinu comes to the Sholom that we're talking about, by Yankee says, Elokei, Ani Hashem, Elokei Avraham, Avicha, Elokei Yitzchak. So there is an okay special to Yitzchak. So what is the special Elokei to Yitzchak? I don't know, but it probably has to do with either Mesiras Nefesh, Havas Hashem, something of that sort, that he was able to be with the Akedah, not just to go to the Akedah. But it says, it says twice by that. Once before he knew he was the Kohen, and once after he knew he was the Kohen. And it didn't change. It was both the same kavanah to do whatever that attitude, that's probably what Yitzchak. Again, Yaakov would be this thing that you have to use the Gashmias for only for Avodas Hashem. So that's the thing. So on this, he says, I don't know if I'll do it. I can do it. Because, you tell a guy to fast, it's very easy. Tell a guy to eat 1,500 calories, not so easy. Because he got a piece, not a bite, 3 ounces of protein. They can eat a steak, but 3 ounces, you stop. Not like those geschmack like another bite. No more bites. That's very hard. Don't eat the steak, that's quite easy. But to eat the steak and stop in the middle, that's hard. And that's a Yaakov. So I don't know if I could do it. But if I could do it, you have to be Sholom without lichet. Then we I mean, the couple this concept of Elokim. And that's what these are the 3 Elokims that we say Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov, without Mishmanesra. Now, that he made a mizbeach over there, we have to say that. And he gets the Yitzchak's place afterwards. But it says anyway that he made a mizbeach. Now, did they bring korbanos on these mizbeachs? Chayisrael book mizbeachs. I mean, not Chayisrael, the others book mizbeachs, and they don't tell you what you were makiv on. So would you say they were makiv korbanos? And say, sure, right? So I want to read your Rashi. It's in Parshas Bolok. Okay. Yeah. He says, Shivim Rashi in Kerach of Gimel, Perek of Gimel, Pasuk Dalet. So it says of the Shiva Mizbachos, Shiva Mizbachos Arachti, Ein Ksivkan. That's not what it says. Ela Eshiva Mizbachos Sheva. Omar Lefana Rabbi Seihem, their fathers are labeled one Lefanecha Shiva Mizbachos. They built 7 Mizbeachs, right? V'ani Arachti Keneged Kulam. And I'm set up for equal to all of them. Avram built 4. What do you call it? Yaakov built 2, and Yitzchak built 1. So you have 7 mizbeachos that were built. And what did they do on it? Yeah, they say. The next Rashi. He was only matching one eye. That was the one that was instead of the Akedah. Right? So in case Yitzchak, that eye was only called anywhere. No finding other Kabbanis. So Rashi says there's no other Kabbanis. So what was the point of building a Mizbeach? A Mizbeach is not necessarily for bringing Kabbanis. A Mizbeach is a way of doing a Maaseh to show you Hashkafah. So if I build a monument that's made out of many stones, so it shows us a person's growth. If I make a monument in front of my house out of one stone, then you show it's a person is satisfied with what he is. That's different. So therefore, if I don't have to bring a korban on, if I want to bring a korban, the best place to bring it is where I made my commitment to grow. But it's not a place that a mizbeach is just for korbanos. That's not the purpose of a mizbeach. Okay, so if that's the case, so it never was by the others a place where it was ohuv by them. The one only for the gashmias was ohuv. For the ruchnias was always a mizbeach. For the gashmias, for the putting on the shemen, that's the mizbeach. That was the neder. That's what he does again when they became the neder. He does again the matzeva with the oil. Because that's what the matzeva says. When you make the oil, kashmir has an end. The end is whatever I need for Avodas Hashem. It's the end. If they don't need it anymore.
The whole matzeva was only after his matzeva?
It's only when
They didn't make matzeva.
you don't find it. I mean, you can tell me they was, I don't know, but how do you know they were? So I'm assuming this is the one that he's going on. So exactly why Rashi mentions it, I don't know, because they don't find it was a code, but Rashi says it, so put in my points of view. Okay. Then the next mitzvah, it says over there, I'd say find someone that did Avodah Zarah. If you look through the psukim, you land up with 3 times the word Ra by this Chumash Shiur. Isha Shiyash Ra, 1. It says Isha Shosu Adav Ra, 2. And then it says B'Yishayim Eidem B'Yad Eidem B'Yishayna B'Yalta Galom B'Yalta Hora Mikilbecha. So you have 3 times says the word Ra. So I said you don't find by normal Averis only times says once, and by Eidem Zayim when we get to it says 2. But here by Avodah Zarah it says 3. So what's the number 3? I think first of all the Avodah, I told you not to do it. That's an Avodah in itself. That's number 1. Number 2 is you don't believe in God, right? You're kaifa. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3 is that you blame everything, all the good things, on something else, not God. That's the third Avodah. How do you know that the separate, not believing, and what do you call kaifa, is not as bad as the David Avodah Zarah? It's going what I just said. You only have 1 or 2. In the Haftarah to Basaj Maseh, it's a Shnayim Royus also. You did 2 bad things. 1, you didn't believe in me. 2, you built an Avodah Zarah. So there are 2 separate Avedas that you did. And each one is a Ra in itself. So it's the thing of Ra. Yeah. Then we come into Zokim Mamre, which is exactly what the Midah is behind Zokim Mamre.
Is the Avodah Zarah worse than an atheist?
I'm sorry?
Is the Avodah Zarah worse than an atheist?
Yes.
Because that's a
That's what I'm saying. We think the chet is stubbornness. Why is stubbornness? I can't read them wrong. You have Babont and Vicky Yoga so I don't know if you remember the spot. What you're supposed to say, oh, Maida Lem is probably over there. Should take probably. Maida Lem is a good need of one's own. What do you mean? Why wouldn't the guy be Maida Lem? If I say it's Svoda, so I think I'll be in the end picture it. Like, and they slug me up. I can defend myself. How can I defend myself? By bubbling the Indian. I'll, bring in a sheet out this, that, and the kid don't know what you're talking about, and he's happy, he goes away. Oh, it was a good kasha, but the Rebbe says it's not really kasha and everything, and it was all below me. He says, don't do that. Say, you're right. So I say, but why would the Rebbe do it? He's embarrassed that the kid caught him with an error. Same thing goes with the Sokim Mamre. To be a Sokim Mamre, it's not an easy thing. You got to go to a whole bunch of bezdins. You start off in your town, and in the town, let's say that you hit it to a point where the bezdin says we don't know. You go to Yerushalayim, as soon as you come in, you hit a bezdin, and again you go, they don't know. Go to the one Harav, they don't know. Then you go to Lishkas Hagozis, that's the one, and there. There's no such thing as we don't know. They are a vote on the thing here, yes or no. That's it. If you lose the vote, you're not allowed to do it. You can teach it, but not to teach that it's a din. You can't say lechnasa. You can say, I have a swola, I help like this. Okay, good. That doesn't mean that as long as you avoid that the halacha is like the bezdin agadol, that you're not chayiv nisa for. But it's very hard to admit, especially if I know I'm right. Kasha, what does it mean you know you're right? What does that mean? Okay, there's many scholars, but Misach the Sefer, it says distinctly the answer for that. It says when Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Sinai, I think it's 36, had 36 scholars for Hetel and 36 scholars for Yisrael on the same din. He had 36 scholars of Tumeh and 36 scholars for Taiva. So therefore, it's only what you picked out. Whatever you pick out, you can pack like it's good. All of them are Teresemis. Except that what do we know? This is what we know the way we vote now. That's how we know. And this halacha would stay until whatever it is, until we got a bigger bezdin that you got the chochma minion, and then you can be battled that on. The shaila is, what about a halacha where the reasoning disappears? That's machlekes l'shem. If you still need a bezdin government manual, and then you don't need a bezdin, but you do need a bezdin. Without the bezdin, you can't be mevatel. Okay. Melech. It's very interesting halacha. It says, put a king on you. So to put a guy on top of me, that's for sure. And that's also for sure. Not a quite. What about a girl? So it's still not a chicha. And if Yotze Hashem, as the days continue, he will become a chicha, and the mishpach will become a chicha. But at the moment, he's not a chicha. He has no kedushas Yisrael. If you take a look in the madrigas of who comes first, going before Levi, before Yisrael, so all that thing. A mamzer is before a ger. Because a mamzer has kedushas Yisrael, even though his birth was done with Isa and all these things, but he's still a Jew. And the ger doesn't have that thing. He's not. He has. He's allowed to marry Yid. He's probably more welcome to HaKadosh Baruch Hu than Yid because he volunteered to come to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Where mitzvah, Oblamaisa is that he's fought not b'ker b'achech. It's not, that's the only, you can't, my people are different. They can't take the kids to something else. So you have a Gemara about Mori Baruch.
Evet Kanani is also not Chacham. Evet Kanani.
Not, he's even less than the girl.
He's not considered a Chicha.
No. That doesn't mean he's not, what do you call it? He's shtickle yidden and all that stuff. But we're talking about being melech. So you have Mumbaz, which is with the Yisra that Chazal with the Chayev Ketila for it, was because Mumbaz was, got to this posik. Close to there was Hakel, and was leading this posik. And he started to cry because he is from the Mishpacha of Huldis. So even though he was a Ish Tzaddik, he was a good, not that's a Griffiths. Like Griffiths. Mumbaz could be not even just gave him something, but a Griffiths. He was from the Mishpacha of what he called, he was in the Tzaddik. There are many nice stories about him. Good thing. But it could be a din of an Eved even. But he's out there, and the Chazal that was standing there said, don't cry, achicha, achinu. So for that, they were chayav clear. You're not allowed to say a false thing. The thing that even though the guy's a good guy and everything else, and it's a wonderful thing to say, but it's not. So he has, in a din, he can't have any sorrow over us. It's a din of melech, is a din of any power over you. Now, what's power mean? The inspector for the electric company has power over you because he will decide to cut off your electricity, it gets cut off. And that's called a melech. The guy who decides how much water a person gets, that's a melech. Now, with every administrative job that he got, that cut you off from Medicare, cut you off from food stamps, that's a power. That power is a melech. So a ger is not allowed to have those powers over you. If it comes to mice, you'll ask a specific shayla, because I'm not going into fights through the cases I just gave you, if that really is the case, but I'm just giving that to what we're talking about. So Mori Baruch is Shmuel's grandson. Now Shmuel's daughters were captured, and one was raped. And how she had a child, became pregnant, and the child was Mori Baruch. Shali Meib had a brother, and Yerushalmi, there's another name, also Baruch. So I can't answer you. But anyway, I don't know how many years she was in captivity, but the other one was okay. And anyway, Issa her husband, this man who raped her, I guess loved her so much, they became a ger. And he married her. But they don't bring down they had any children. I don't think he had any other children except Mori Baruch, or with the other brother. Mori Baruch. So the shayla was, he wanted to marry Baskoyan there or something there. So the shayla, he's kosher. He's allowed to be even a melech, they want to say. So the power to become a melech over these type of things is if your mother is Jewish, you're considered a melech, but not for the real king. The real king is punkt verkehrt. A melech, a man melech, from David HaMelech's family, or from Malchi Yisrael, Achav, for instance, married Geuris. He's ever, whether you like it or not, was a Geuris. And Nama Mainis was a Geuris. Nama Mainis is Shlomo Melech's wife, the mother of a Chavam. So she's a Geuris, but the father is a Jew. So that's from real Melech, you need that father. But if the father would be the ger and the mother would be the real Jew, it wouldn't help to be a Melech. That would not help. But this way for for a real, but a father, a real guy, mother's yours, that helps you. And no kashas.
And not if the father became a ger before the.
What?
Is there a difference if the father became a ger before the Iber or after?
No. It doesn't make a difference because he's only the kid, not a Yuchlistic family. So he still has a din of a ger. He's a Jew. What Shevet he is, I don't know if he is anything. This is again theory because I'm wondering one of the mice to show. The reason that we have, let's say, we follow the yichus of the father, not the mother, says because what's the pasuk? Not myself. It is the Beis Habayso. No. What? No, that's speaking anybody that others. It says right now the pasuk is still being made, but it says you have to follow the father. Why? I have a mother's shevet, father's shevet. So well, you have to follow the father. Huh? Maybe that's a little better than what I've been having. There's something that comes always like this, and no, it's not this. So I can't answer. But that's the thing. There are such things, and the reason we follow the father, the kids are kohen, is the father's a kohen, the mother's Yisraelis, kids are kohen, right? The mother's a bas kohen, and he's the father's Yisrael. You're Yisrael. That was it. Mishpechaysim Beis Habaysim. Mishpechaysim Beis Habaysim. Those are for the others. Okay. So I think is that any different what you said? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe wrong on that. Okay, I'm not. But anyway, what happens though? A girl who is loose with the morals, loose with a guy, and has a baby. Is this baby a nobody? Well, she's a frumma girl. I mean, no, she didn't give up her religion. She didn't go become a Catholic. She didn't do anything. And frumma girl, she had a taiva, or the guy raped her. That kid would be whatever shaded the mother's from. Because there's no contradiction. The only reason you go after the father is because there's the father and mother, you go after the father. But if there's only a mother, so you go after the mother. Where's the exceptions to this case? The exception to this case was the entailed for Moshe Rabbeinu by the Ben Ish Mitzri, who wanted to be by the Shevet Don. He came to pen by Shevet Don because his mother is Shlemish Bas Divrei the Shevet Don. So therefore, he's now following the mother. He hasn't got a father, so he's going to get the mother. And they threw him out. He went to the table in front of Moshe, and he lost. And he cursed Hashem, and therefore it's Chaim Misa. Okay. He was right? They're saying there are just things. That the reason why he was wrong is this. Shlomish Bas Divrei, according to the Medrash, was married to Dosa. That he was from Shevet Reuven. So any children that they would have would be children that belong to the Shevet of Reuven. You're only telling me that they should happen to be raped, even as an Ish, so she go after Don. She loses her shame of Shevet Don because now all her children are for Shevet Reuven. That's what they should be. So she's a conduit for the children of Reuven. She's not anymore have any shaykhs to Shevet of Don. So that's why she lost her kirkus of Shevet. And he didn't have any, and he's not Reuven, he wasn't Dosan's son. So a guy is nobody. Or let's say a woman who was raped or she lived with a goy and so on and had a baby. So the kid would be from that Shevet. And I think could be. What was this talking about, though? About the milk, right? Yeah, so he said, So it permitted him to be that. It followed the shaver.
The difference between the two types of malacha.
Anyway, so that was the point. So we open the point where you go after the father, so that seems to be common. You have to go after the mother, so that's a shayla when you can and when you can't.
Is there a son? Who cares if he's the real malach or he's the manager?
That I can't answer you, but I think a real malach is it's like that's over you or everything. The other thing is just I'm a boss. I can boss you around. So we got be if Adi can own a business, you want to work for me, you can work for me. That's not a melech. Because you have the ability to quit. So therefore, but let's say I'm the Rav or I'm a Dayan, so therefore I can paskin against you. I can't be. But for Gerim, I can be. In fact, it's so wide that the Ger can't even be on a business for Chalitza. But for Chalitza of Gerim, he can be on. And I forgot his name, but Shmuel and something. He was a Ger. So it was an American. They wanted to appoint him dying by Chlitza. He said, I'm a Ger. So I can't puzzle. This is the thing. There's nothing more holy than a Ger. And this has nothing to do with the Ger. There's a special din in Klal Yisrael of a Melech. It's a din that you can't have an Ish Nechi. Now it says in this thing, which is, let's say, Sus, you shouldn't go to the to Mitzrayim in order to get horses. Right? So it seems that horses came from Mitzrayim. Right? And I think if we have racehorses or something, they're called Arabians, right? Or something like that. So an Arabian horse, that's the fast one, that's the good one, that's the, what do you call it? That's the reason also that, what about Saladin probably defeated Richard. But the nicer, they had horses. And fast horses, that's the main thing. You notice how they gave Matonis the Avram Avinu, right? He thought he gave him Avodim, Ranim, Amayrim, cattle, right? And all the things, tents, no horses. We don't sell horses. It's interesting, you find a few other places, Cain said, that they were very strict on keeping the horses for their own use, not to exploit them. In other words, we have a United States, Israel even has it, where you have an armaments industry. So you have armaments industry. It's an industry. It's not just the government makes arms for its own soldiers. It's an industry, a business. So we try to get customers wherever we can. So whatever we build for our own country, we're selling also to the enemy. Right? Oh, we don't sell it to the enemy. We only sell it to the neutral country. We then sell it to the enemy. But the mice is that the enemy gets the same forces there. What kind of nuts are you? You know, the mice said that's what the parrot wasn't enough. They kept the horses.
And by Deborah, they made sure to bring them in. So that's what Rashi says by
Right. Also, another one is Liabba Leinoshi. Now, this is it says why? Because Yosef Levove, Shlomo Melech, was guilty of this. He thought he wouldn't do it, and then landed up that he was at Bas Pali, had influence over him. My theory is that Shlomo Melech never understood the love of a single woman, because he had a lot of wives. He never had that one wife that was committed, the husband to the wife and the wife to the husband. And it's a certain commitment that you have a certain security in them. I have 1,000 wives, I have a shaykhs with them once a year, once in 2 years or 3 years. Don't have any relationship with them, except maybe the fact I'm the king and she isn't. That's about it. But they don't have a personal relationship. I can't believe Shlomo HaMelech had a personal relationship. Maybe Bas Pali he did, and see what you did to him. Okay, that's because he didn't know what a personal relationship, so he got stuck with a Bas Pali. But she was smarter than other guys that want to make a personal relationship. But normally you can't have it. So what's Shlomo HaMelech talking about? The thing that Shlomo HaMelech talks about beauty. Definitely had a better taste of beauty than we have because he had a choice of 1,000 women. So he knew what beauty was. And because of that, he describes HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He's able to write Shir Hashir without a concept of beauty that we don't have. About love, he didn't have any love. That's in there, love for beauty, but not love for a person. We have love for a person because we only have one wife. They have one husband. Okay. So it tells you that David HaMelech was allowed 18 wives. That's what Stam HaMelech is about. Now you can't have 1,000, you can have 18. Keheina v'choheina. The same problem, 18 women, is less than 1,000, yeah, but you still don't have too much of a relationship. So it's interesting, the end of Shmuel, it tells you, it lists 6 of David's children, because the first 6 when they were born. And the 6th one is the son of Eglah Ashes David. All on the others, it does not use the word Ashes, the wife of David, only on Eglah. And Rashi points out that Eglah is Michal Bashol, and that was his wife. Now, with the rest of them, I married for good reasons, whatever it is, they're not my wife. But he had a wife, that was Eglah. Or Michal. And the other thing, Shlomo doesn't bring down that he had a wife. He married whatever it is for treaties, for whatever reason he married them. But he married them for political reasons or whatever, personal reasons or whatever it is. So if you say he married them for beauty alone, it's a schwer Sache to say, Shlomo HaMelech for sure, because that's mashma neisi isha l'shem znus. And it's even though these things are made for Yisurim, Neisishu Shemamin and Neisishu Kovid, that's where you marry a lower status, let's say a mamzer, apostle, or something like that, because of these things. But the Torah, if the Foshim bring down that even if you just do it because that's my purpose in marriage, that is also. I married a woman not to have children for Klal Yisrael, for Avodas Hashem, or it's because it's a mitzvah. I'm doing it because she's rich. I'm doing it because she has covet. I'm doing it because she's beautiful. That's an Eisisha Mishim Zinus. So people who ask for pictures and all that kind of stuff and basing opinions on that, that's a good question. I mean, they have to be able to like the person. That's yes, no question about it. That if someone is ugly, you're not, and it's more to the person. You can't live with the person because you're not allowed to marry until you see her. Nor that you shouldn't have any kindness later on. Many women are attractive, or pretty much all women are attractive. The thing, it's not that maybe they're beautiful, whatever it is, they're attractive. That's all I need. That she's a woman. And I go and I say it has to be beautiful. And that's all I'm interested in. So that somehow doesn't sound like a guy is getting married for the right reasons. I'm not getting involved in the particulars. I'm sure there's others that will legally hold. What are you talking about? I'm getting down there. But the mice doesn't sound very good. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to say before. So a lot of people bother them in the Zokim Mamre. It says, to say, you can't turn away even right or left. It says, what does that mean? It means that they say on right that it's left or on left that it's right, you're also mechuyev to do it. Now, what do you mean? I know they're wrong, right? Because they're saying left, and I said right. No, you don't know. So how do you know what they're telling you is left or right? To you, it sounds like left or right, but they're telling you the emes. So by them, it's always right. So therefore, what seems to you left, that doesn't mean anything. That's why you go to the rabbis. That's why you want to ask them, what's the law? I'm not asking you my opinion, what the law should be. Yeah. Get involved in something with Hashem now. Okay. I guess our attitude, how it has to be in relationship to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The thing is, Tomen Ti Hashem Lekecha. And Rashi translates it to mean that Tomen Ti Hashem Lekecha is halachimai betmimus. Go with him with Ganzkeit, with Tzitzapeloi, and hope to him. Don't search for the future. Whatever comes on you, keep it with tmimus, accept it with tmimus. This is a sifri, by the way. And then they can consider his. The Malbim teaches that up to mean that if you are not like that, you lose hashkocha pratis. As simple as that. Now, with a guy that tries to see, what's going to be in the future, now how do I avoid it? So first of all, you're not avoiding anything. The man should know the more stuff than you'll ever have. If he wants to get you, he'll get you. Even no matter if you made all the cheshbeinis you wanted, they're not going to avoid it. You're not going to avoid it. You're not going to avoid that particular thing. Will get you something else. Because he doesn't change it. That it would be what he called. So I changed it. So I avoid it. So I'll give you something else. And the thing though, the bench, you're not getting away from the bench. He wants to give you an enish. Even if he wants to give you a stam tzah. But what's my responsibility? My responsibility is to accept the matzah and do whatever I can to live according to that matzah. That's my responsibility. Now, if I know something is wrong, I'm not going to put myself into such a matzah. Maybe a normal shtadlus, you can do whatever we call. I'm not getting involved in that either. You ask the rabbis for that. Are there any sicknesses in their family? All that kind of stuff. So there were two healthy people that are getting together now to figure out what genetics they have, this and that. You're not going to do that, and if you do it, you're not coming on Sholom. Now, you got to think about it also. How much would you consider enough to go in for an operation that you feel for beauty's sakes? What odds would you go in for? Like 97% sound pretty good to you. So let's say how would 1,000 sound to you? Even better, right? Most of these things are 1 in 3,000. So relax, okay? Only by 2 carriers do you have it's 1 in 4. Then it's still like 1 in 4, 25%. Doesn't mean if you have 4 children, that. It means they can have all 4 of them no good, you can have all 4 of them good. Just whatever the genetics are, and however mental theories work out, and that is. But they have 2 carriers, the odds of 2 carriers meeting is 1 in 3,000. It could happen, yeah, but it can happen. It can't happen. But the shayla is to try to avoid it. And I'll tell you, the bench has other methods. There's also an interesting thing.
So
I'm sorry? I use your seichel for that part. I ain't getting involved on that one. on TV.
But once somebody sees that he has a genetic problem,
Huh?
if somebody already has one child and sees he has a genetic problem,
So it could be.
So
So then he has a swelling.
status.
Yeah, not. I'm looking for myself, not for you. No one told me you had a shidduch. I'm waiting for the shidduch. Meaning, if you're a carrier, then we got more problems. Okay, we don't have problems. That's could be established already, because that's normal thing. But take out two healthy people. What are you looking for? The Shiv was even weiter. He said, even when the Gemara says you're allowed to be choshish, says only a reshus. And if you do Tom Tia, eventually you do better with the Revenge. So in other words, we say like two of the same sex and the same family. That's the only two things that are brought down. But so you have sometimes two of the same sex and the same family. And you see the even the dinner when you mal a kid, right? And you have one kid was what do you call it, hemophilia, right? So he died. So you remember the second kid? Yes. The third kid we don't know, but the second kid we know. Why? Maybe he's a hemophilia. Okay. The odds are he isn't. Right? So then that's why we do it. That's the din of the dinner. We forget that there's a God in the world. That's the main thing. That He's the one that I'll show you like halacha what I mean with there's a God in the world. Lashon Hara is the biggest thing to it. I want to tell something that's with Teyelis. In other words, I was partners with a guy in business and he robbed me. And now he's wanting to partners with a friend who I just read he's going with that. And I call up that guy and I said, you can't go this guy, this guy is a big crook and what everything did. So why are you doing this? Then I told Lashon Hara. He wasn't telling Lashon Hara. I'm trying to save the guy from going into business. I'm trying to save his business. I'm doing it with Teyelis. Okay, so Teyelis has 5 tanoim. One of them is that you're not angry at the person. Okay, and we haven't got any personal years. So this guy, but so what difference does it make if I have personal years? I'm still saving the guy from the job, right? They're saying, let's forget it's also because there's an available called Lashon Hara. And are you worried what's going to happen to the guy? There's a God in the world. Don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And if he lets it go in, so maybe you were mistaken and with you was a crook and the other guy got better shmira. For whatever reason it is that if he happens to make it. And if he don't make it, then that mention want them to lose the money. And or the deal will fall apart and then all of a sudden the mention saved them. But there's a God in the world. He's doing what he wants. You have to do as much as you can do, but you can't do, so you can't do. There's a Ramban here that's interesting. This Parshas will start with this, that he get diagnosed by a doctor. Everybody tells you have Yana Machlin and what do you call it? And you got 6 months to live. You're supposed to tell him. If you don't tell him or you don't leave it in your heart, you're Evanessa. It doesn't apply to me. I'm Ben Yisrael. I have a shkocha pratis. It has nothing to do, all the odds that you're going to give me that exist in the world or anything has nothing to do with me. I am a Jew. There's a Ramban like that on this page. And this, if I remember which person.
Ein Mazel Yisrael. That's Ein Mazel Yisrael. Ein Mazel Yisrael.
Mazel Yisrael. If you don't believe that, you're Evanessa.
I'm going to tell them or just have to leave?
Huh?
I'm going to tell them.
I don't want to get involved with the doctor. When I'm going to argue with him, you're going to tell me what a fool I am. Rabbi, what are you going to get involved? Anyway, have a good Shabbos, somebody say.
Shabbos, Rebbe.
Shabbos, Rebbe. Shabbos.
Shabbos, Shabbos.